our mind just has such a negativity bias when left unchecked that we can go into all the things. And then even when we've manifested the things that we want, then we just go into the next and the next. And it's like in life, you're never going to have everything you want all at the same time. Like that. It's never existed ever. So just give up on that, you know? However, we're already living a lot of the things that we're calling in. You know, this time last year, I was staying with different people, Airbnbs on my journey, and now I have a home. I'm like, every single day, I'm like, I have my own bed. Wow. This time last year, I did not know when or if how that would ever happen. And now I have a bed, you know, and that period of uncertainty that I was in, I'm out of. I'm in another chapter. And then there's other things I'm uncertain about, you know, but it's not around my home anymore. You know, now it's about my relationships. And it's like, and that's in life, but my business is good. Whereas there was a period of time that my relationship was great, but my business was not, you know? And it's like, it's always a spiral, you know? And we so focus on like, but I don't have that one thing. I don't have that one thing. But then like that quest of obsessing over that one thing makes you lose the other. The quest of obsessing over, I got to get further in my career might make you lose your friendships. And then you might be like, I have no friends, you know, because I didn't value the friendships. And then, so it's like, it's always a balance. And that's what I love about indigenous wisdom as well. Can you share a little bit about like Toltec and Mayan wisdom and some of the tenets of that?
Yeah, I'd love to share a little bit about Mashika history. I've just been diving deeper into Mashika history, which are the descendants of the Tolteca people, who are descendants of the Olmeca people, which Mayans were around during the Tolteca times, Mashika times. So they're also descendants of the Olmecas. That's like our matriarchal, right, mother civilization. The Mashikas had beautiful cultural aspects to them. They were incredibly civilized, beautiful, you know, mathematicians, inventors, astrologers, scientists. They were biophilic, which means that they encouraged life. They never invented anything that would, you know, promote death or infringe upon life or Mother Earth.
Wow.
They never invented another weapon, yet they invented the calculator. Since prehistoric times, let me say. They never invented another weapon since those times, right? They obviously need some weapons to do things. But they invented the calculator. They invented corn, the first government, the oldest and first government democracy. They invented the first education system. You know, they had a beautiful calendar that supported them in life. And, you know, they were incredibly spiritual. That was a big part of their culture, was spirituality. Their ceremonies were steeped in spirituality and interconnectedness and reciprocity and gratitude. They had something called the calpelis, which were social organizations that would bring people together, that would cultivate unity and diversity. They would have ceremonies, they would educate the people, they would have gatherings, and even take care of the sick. So, you know, that's really, really special to me, because I do something called the revival, and I bring people together, and it's literally unity in diversity, bringing all these people from different backgrounds together to share their stories. And I didn't know there was a word for that. And I'm like, I'm literally doing this thing that my, for sure, ancestor was one of the capelis, you know? So that's super special, super beautiful. One of the common threads, one of the ancestral plants that the Mashika and also the Mayan people worked with was cacao once again. Cacao was used for everything between life and death, used ceremonially, used for healing. It was even used as currency for the Maya people, which was beautiful, because then that, you know, they avoided, you know, hoarding, and they avoided, you know, just keeping their wealth for themselves, because cacao, right, spoils within 2 years. And for the Mashika people, it was actually bartering. They didn't have a currency. They were it was a barter system. Same thing with owning property. They didn't own property. It was bartering. So it was beautiful. It prevented greed and prevented the hoarding aspects that we see in our culture, right? So yeah, so many beautiful things. There's so much wisdom to learn and to feel when we connect with the ancient ancestors, right? This is like pre-colonization. There's so much beauty, so much wisdom, and we don't know about that. And I'm learning about it every day. I'm continuing to grow and learn, and it's really beautiful and profound. And I think it's really important to share, because a lot of people don't know this history. You know, it's been taken away. And I know in the culture, what I've seen in our society is a sense of like seeing the Maya people, or Aztecas, they like to call them, but we call ourselves Mashika, and they've always been called Mashika people. They were seen as barbaric, that's the standard look. There was a film that was out back in the day, Apocalypto, that really set that precedent. And yeah, so I love rewriting the story. I love sharing about ancient Maya culture and the Mashika culture, and I write about it more in the book. You could dive into it there for sure.
I feel like connecting to the ancient ways prior to, Abrahamic organized religions, all of these indigenous cultures had such similar downloads. Like when you were sharing everything about the tenets of this indigenous wisdom, it reminded me of Zoroastrian culture, which is the ancient Persian wisdom prior to Islam. That was connected to earth, connected to the fire element. We made altars. The tenets were see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. We gave back. It was like, now we say these words like pagan, but like pagan is actually just the European form of it, which they came to the same realizations in their own way. And so it's crazy how all of these civilizations, completely disconnected, were channeling the same things: gratitude, love, respect, working with earth, working with cycles, working with seasons, reciprocity, right relations. And then because of, I would say, major religions, probably the main thing, which brought patriarchy, which brought colonialism, which brought capitalism, agricultural revolution, like the wars that came with that. And I think vibrationally, we did enter into just like a darker consciousness in humanity. I think it was a lighter consciousness. I think we're moving back into that. And that's why people like you and I and the people listening to this, we're feeling it. We're feeling these ancient ways because we're like ancient souls, like brought back.
Yeah.
I don't know in this lifetime we'll go back to like the Machu Picchu time, but
and we don't want to. We don't want to, right?
Yeah.
We want to like learn from them, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to romanticize these ancient cultures because they weren't perfect either. But we get to know all sides, and the story that's been told is usually the negative for brown folk, for people from
oh yeah,
the
they did
Americas.
human sacrifices.
That's all we hear.
Exactly.
Right. And so, and there's intention behind all of that, and I'm not going to even go into that, but yeah, we get to learn about all sides, and we get to learn the wisdom so that we can carry that forward. No matter what, we're going to have a relationship with our ancestors. So it's whether or not we're going to carry a legacy forward of their wisdom, their beauty, their magic, or we're going to carry their legacy of their traumas and their wounds, right? So we get to connect with them, learn from them, carry forward the beauty.
Yeah, like even when you were describing these cultures, it made me so sad to feel the consciousness of violence and how that has massively just infiltrated, especially, I mean, all over the world. Well, specifically because I was raised by Guatemalan, like you know, the woman who lived with us, took care of me since I was young, was Guatemalan. That's why Christine and I are like, in my soul, I'm Guatemalan. Y hablo español también, vale? But hearing from the time I was a child, just the amount of war, of violence, and that's not indigenous to the ways of the land. That was brought by colonialism, and being in Peru and hearing about the ways that if there was an indigenous person who was even like created a fire, they would kill them. They would crucify them.
Yeah.
Can you speak? Because I didn't realize the extent of this, and I'm like the bravery that these indigenous people, because most of them had to flee up to the tops of the mountains just to survive, let alone keep ceremony like despacho and of course even plant medicine. Wow, to keep these systems intact and share them. And so many of them are finally coming down from the mountains because they're like, it's time for the world to experience this because these plants are needed to awaken humanity. I'm like, these people literally have died for thousands of years, had to hide their livelihoods to preserve these rituals, these ceremonies, these plants for it to heal us. Like they are angels of our times.
And that's why it's such a sacred responsibility for us to carry forward the wisdom, right? And there are wisdom keepers all over these beautiful places in Mesoamerica. And yes, they're coming out, but also you can visit those lands and connect with them. And they want to share, and it's essential to learn from them. It is so essential to learn from them. And also we can connect with that wisdom by connecting with ourselves and knowing that the ancestors live through us. So it's not just learning from outside of ourselves, but also going like within and really feeling that that's within you and you can activate that within yourself too, I think is super important.